Okay, now I realize that this creates the perfect segue into the next red flag, which is control. Narcissistic people need to have control over you. They I don't know, they have this sick need to possess you in some way, and he was no different. I don't know, in his delusional mind, he thought he was a puppeteer, and I was obviously his puppet. There was this one time, I remember, we were fighting, as usual. We hadn't spoken for like a couple of weeks. And then I was supposed to go to a theater show in a nearby city. I guess it was like 2 to 3 hours from the university. And we were pretty excited about it. Like my friend and we got the passes last moment from our college professor, and she was like, yeah, join me there. I'll be there. I mean, I'll go in the morning and you guys can come before the show starts. So I was psyched. Like, I think it was one of my first shows. And so we got ready and hopped onto the bus, and I don't know, I think I was attracted to the whole toxicity. I don't know why I did it, but I called him to check in on him while I was in the bus, and he was obviously sulking and trying to make me feel guilty. And then he asked me, where you at? And I told him, yeah, I'm on my way to this place. I'm going for a show there. And suddenly his voice and everything changed, and I could tell from his voice that he was pissed. He was mad. He did not like what he heard. And he went all like, who are you going with? Who are these friends? Or who's your professor? Is it he or a she? And all those stupid things. But what he threw at me next, I just couldn't believe my ears. Like, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was like really surprised, because he went like, and with whose permission do you think you're going there? And I was like, excuse me, or what? Come again? And he didn't hesitate. He repeated himself loud and clear. With whose permission do you think you're going there? And I was like, with whose permission do you think I should go there? Like, yours? And then that was like, I was mad. I was mad, and I was in utter disbelief. And he went on and on, like, blah, you keep on, like, you don't give a shit about things. You call me, and then you call me to say that you're going there, and then I don't even know with whom are you going, blah, 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 blah. All of his nagging and his same old self started. And then next thing we know is that was it. We didn't speak after that for a year, because he broke up with me because I did not take the permission to go see the show. So there, he dumped me. A year and a half later, I think we got back again. Yeah, I know. I don't want to go into the details, but I did that, yes. Talk about questionable decisions, talk about bad decisions. But this whole control thing went on to another level when, like, people grow and they try to, better themselves. Like, we're always aiming for a better version of ourselves. I don't think he had that concept at all, because I experienced all of that, like his need to have control over people, over me, just kept on getting worse. So this time this time was like 10x level of madness. We were again long distance. This time he was in Canada, and things were bad. I think he was depressed because, I don't know, I think he was just sick in his head. Anyway, he was supposed to come back and meet me, like every couple does. And I was hoping to meet him and clarify these things, because we were having too much of like unnecessary fights. So I really wanted to talk to him, like where things are at, and I mean, I was actually ready to let go if things were not working out, because honestly, I was just so exhausted. I was just so exhausted with all of this unnecessary chaos in my life. And he called me in those days, like one of those days we were fighting, and then we were not fighting, and then we were fighting again. So he calls me, and then he's like, yeah, I'll be coming back home, and I want to see you, and is there any way you could arrange a place where I could come and meet you and be with you? And I was like, okay, cool, I will see what I can do. And I did make the arrangements, but sir never called me. Like, there was radio silence for days, then weeks, then months. And I was blocked from every possible place of contact. And I tried reaching out, but to no gain. So then I naturally made peace with it, and I was like, yeah, I think good riddance. I started moving on, and I was single, I was happy. And there was this one time, so I had just joined a new place, and I went out with a friend of mine, a dear friend and a colleague. So, and I had a very, very nice day after a very long time. And I felt cute in the dress I wore, so I put up some posts on Facebook. And they were a little booby, but whatever, it was cute. So I posted. And then the very next day, I think it was a Friday or the weekend, and then on Monday, yeah, something like that, I get a notification from him. Remember how I was blocked from everywhere? So he unblocked me on WhatsApp and sent me a message, the screenshot of my photos from Facebook, and a message saying, why do you have to post these pics? Or, yeah, why did you have to post these pics? And then he deleted them right after. But I saw them on my notification bar, and I was like, oh my god, really? So then I went and checked his account. Now that I was unblocked, I could see, and I saw that he is engaged to somebody else. There was a photo of him and another girl, and his status had changed to a vibrating heart. He had never put a status for me. Like, we were together for like years, and never did he do that for me. And I was like, this bitch. First of all, I don't know. He dumped me, did not inform me, and then he gets engaged. And then he has the nerve, he has the audacity to think that he still has control over what I post on Facebook. I was like, whoa, are you seriously kidding me right now? Like, I couldn't believe myself. Like, how was I with him for so long? Like, what was wrong with me? I mean, I think seriously a lot of issues, because it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you be with such such a person. Like, I don't even have words. Such a degenerate person. Like, what? Okay, let's hop on to the next problematic behavior that I had to put up with. I mean, I don't know. I had put a gun to my head and made myself go through it. Nobody else had a gun to my head. Okay, so there was manipulation, there was his NPD, then there was this whole control issue. Oh, he was also a jelly Nelly, like of the highest order. I mean, I don't think jealousy is such a bad emotion. I think I'm also a jealous person, but not to a toxic level. Like, if I'm jealous, like, it's natural. It's a natural amount. It's like valid for people to have that much of jealousy, but not like he used to. Like, he was jealous of everybody that I was around. That was because, like, he wanted to control me. So obviously, I think he was just jealous of me having a good time. Doesn't matter with who I'm having it with. If I'm having a better time than he's having at that point, he would just be jealous. He was just petty like that. Or I don't know. We'll never know. And funnily enough, there was this one instance where I think we were talking on the phone. Yeah, I missed his calls, and I called him back, and he asked me, like, oh, so where were you? I was like, yeah, I went for dinner, and then we went for a walk, my roommate and I. And then he flipped. It was like, your roommate, he repeated her name, your roommate, all the time. You're just always hanging out with her. You don't have any time for me. You're either with your roommate or your classmate or your other friends. You're always hanging out with your girlfriends out there. Like, what is it with you and your roommate? Like, why do you have to be with her all the time? Are you a lesbian? Are you a lesbian, huh? That you have to be with her all the time? I was like, oh, what? I mean, at that time, I remember his voice was all like shrilly and high and everything. And I took my phone and I placed it near a platform just outside the gates. And I was walking after a point. Like, he was just repeating that over and over again. I mean, I loved my roommate, who's a dear friend of mine. But hey, it was no homo. Like, no, it was purely platonic, and she's a dear friend of mine still. Like, we are great buddies. But thank you for catching that for me. I mean, God, I should have thought at that time, really. Like, I should have taken him seriously, you know? If there is any point in this whole troublesome relationship, this whole problematic relationship that I've had with him, I'd like to give him credit. It is this. Like, he got it right. He got it absolutely right. And I'm proud. What can I say, girl? I'm really proud. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this story time. I might look like it was just also funny and it didn't affect me, but like, oh, I had a bad time, and I'm glad that it's over, and I have like come way past it. Like, I am in a better place now than I would have ever imagined. So bygones be bygones. Now we just laugh about it. Trauma gives you a good sense of humor. Okay, so that's a wrap on this segment of story time about my toxic lesbian boyfriend. Do I want to take back anything I said against him? No. I told you in the beginning, today is about being petty, and I wanted to be petty, and it's about looking back at all the mistakes that I did and how I'm not going to repeat them. I'm going to be conscious, and that's what we are here for. Learning from our mistakes, basically. So I hope you learned some from mine and go live your best life. I will see you next time. Until then, take care. Ciao.